Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this important conversation. And I'm sorry to not be able to join in person. My name is Klaus Maker. I started as a fourth generation chef who spent more than 2 decades building food and beverage concepts and supply chains for theme parks, hotels, entertainment centers, working with Disney's Imagineering team. I later led global target group marketing for Metro AG, headquartered in Düsseldorf, Germany, supporting teams in over 700 wholesale markets across 30 countries. After a career in global food systems, my focus today is on how we can make regenerative agriculture practical and profitable for farmers and markets alike. With Food.AI, we're working at the intersection of agriculture, food, and artificial intelligence, not as technologists alone, but as translators. Our objective is to connect farmers, supply chains, and buyers in ways that allow regenerative practices to succeed where commodity systems have struggled. When we talk about regenerative agriculture, we're talking about restoring the living systems that make agriculture possible: the soil, the water cycle, the carbon balance, and the biodiversity that underpins resilience. That transition means changing the types of crops we grow, reintroducing rotations, and building diversity back into the landscape. Farmers know how to do this. Many already are, but the challenge is that these crops and practices don't always fit neatly into a commodity-driven food system. If a farmer plants small grains, legumes, or cover crops as part of a rotation, but there's no market outlet, the system pushes them back to monocultures. In other words, agronomy may point one way, but economics pulls another. And unless we bridge that gap between ecological need and market demand, adoption of regenerative practices will stall. On the demand side, we face a parallel challenge. Regenerative crops and ingredients often look, taste, or perform differently than standardized commodity products. That means food brands, CPG companies, and institutional catering have to make adjustments to their menus, their recipes, and even their sourcing specifications if they want to integrate these differentiated products. Right now, too often, the burden falls entirely on farmers to adapt their practices without a corresponding shift in the marketplace. That imbalance slows adoption and discourages innovation. But even when there is demand for regenerative products, the infrastructure to move those products from farm to market is often missing. Our current supply chains have been optimized for uniform commodities, not for the diversity that regenerative systems produce. For mid-sized farmers in particular, this creates a bottleneck. They may grow specialty grains, pulses, or rotational crops, but without access to aggregation, logistics, and processing, those products never reach scale. It's not that the crops can't be grown, it's that the system isn't built to handle them. That's the gap Food.AI is focused on, orchestrating the supply chain adjustments that allow those contracts to be fulfilled reliably, building the market architecture that allows them to move. This is where artificial intelligence comes in. At Food with Thought, we have designed a framework that doesn't rely on one monolithic AI system, but rather a team of agents, each focused on a specific part of the farm-to-market journey. Think of it this way: a market agent that helps negotiate wholesale contracts with food brands and institutional buyers, a farm agent that translates those contracts into actionable planting and rotation plans, a supply chain agent that coordinates aggregators, logistics, and processes so products actually move, an ESG agent that quantifies and tokenizes carbon sequestration, watershed improvements, biodiversity, and nutrient density. This creates a secondary revenue stream on top of food sales. And that added value is not just a bonus. It's what allows regenerative producers to compete on price with commodity and monocrop growers while still investing in practices that restore the land. The Navigator agent is designed to manage the handoff between the agents. So rather than forcing farmers and buyers to juggle disconnected tools, the system itself manages the coordination. The result is a digital backbone that makes regenerative supply chains not only possible, but practical. We're not replacing human expertise. We're taking the friction out of coordination so farmers can focus on growing, buyers can focus on serving customers, and the ecosystem as a whole can accelerate its regenerative transition. We appreciate the leadership of Kansas State to push the boundaries of advancing digital agriculture. At Food with Thought AI, our focus is on unlocking markets and value flows for small and mid-sized regenerative farmers, the ones who can't easily plug into commodity supply chains, but who hold the keys to healthier soils, stronger water cycles, and more resilient rural economies. Artificial intelligence, when applied thoughtfully, can be a catalyst, aligning farmers, markets, and ecosystems so that the regenerative transition is both ecologically sound and economically viable. Thank you for the opportunity to share this perspective. I look forward to continued dialogue on how, together, we can shape a food system that truly serves the land, the farmer, and the future.